morning, sports fans from all around the globe. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your breakfast bankroll for Friday, June 17th, 2022. Apologies for not the 10:30 start. That's on me. Just tied up on the phone, and it worked out well because the landscapers have come and gone, so there'll be no mowers, weed whackers, and all those sound effects crossing our airwaves. Hats off to the ECSI VIPs. We finally got one of those MLB gods looking down at us breaks last night. We had the Rangers minus a run and a half, full game plus 105, and 1-0, top of the ninth, 2 outs, bases loaded, and we get a triple, and we win that one 3-1. Secondly, Golden State plus 155 comes in as they take care of the Celtics, which me and Riley will talk about. Thirdly, on our alert that we sent out before the start, I basically said this: if anyone was interested in obviously playing Golden State to start, we waited till they were down 2-1 to get the plus money. At the same time, we got the Lightning plus 105 against the Rangers. So those both had come in. But I said if Golden State wins, it is Curry's MVP. He was minus 130, I think. I said if the Celtics win, probably it was Tatum. But as you saw, Tatum last couple games, just not yet ready. I have a thing to say about Golden State that I'll talk to Riley about, my thoughts about this as well. There. U.S. Open going on as we speak. Live odds at DraftKings right now. Rory plus 360 to win. We had a plus 1800. Rory, first round leader. Bogey's 18, gets into the clubhouse -3 with a handful of others. Hadwin comes in with a -4 on the afternoon, which was hard to do. So that bogey on 18 cost us plus 1800 and plus 900 there. But we got a bunch of guys on the leaderboard here. Matthew Fitzpatrick plus 800, the second favorite right now. I'm going to tell you right now, guys, this board will change 10,000 times in the next 3 days here. So excited for that. But without further ado, let's bring him in from the Windy City himself, the one and only Mr. Riley Magnuson. Good morning, Riley.
Happy Friday, my friend. Thanks for bringing me in once again, as always. We've got plenty to talk about. The U.S. Open in full swing. You just mentioned Matthew Fitzpatrick. That's my biggest stake that I've got, or your biggest winning stake that I've got out of this one. So I'm excited that he's in the position that he's in. So I'm sure we'll get to all of that. We got the Warriors cutting down the nets last night. You mentioned it, Curry. Basically just putting down the daggers the last few games, or last couple of games, I should say, and putting the nail in the coffin. So hats off to him. Pretty undeniable what he's done at this point in his career. If you're a Steph hater or not. So I'm ready to dive into wherever we got. We've got a hell of a weekend ahead of us. Golf tournaments, hockey tomorrow night as well. So I'm ready to rock wherever you want to.
I'm going to start with the Celtics. You know what? It was an amazing run. Starting January 1st, I think they were like 150-1. They were just gasping for air. And then the second week of January, they took off. All-Star break, a local company here said they were going to go on a 22-4 run to end the season, and they were pretty damn close. Get into the playoffs, sweep the preseason favorites, Brooklyn Nets, face the defending champs, Giannis and company, without Middleton. And so, of course, last night, a lot of the haters are like, well, I think the Bucks would have been here if Middleton was there. But they play well without Middleton. They share the ball well, but that's a whole nother show.
Right.
They beat Giannis and company in 7 and won a game 6 in Milwaukee. In come the Heat. Again, a chance to step on their necks. They don't. They do it the hard way. Lose as a 9.5-point favorite at home in game 6, go back to Miami and win game 7. Now, everyone's going back to the fact they were up 2-1, had a chance to really step on Golden State's throat and didn't. So we're 2-2. We're going back to Golden State. And this is where I think the series was won. And this is my take. The experience showed. I mean, the Celtics and the turnovers, every time Tatum or Brown took it to the hole. They just lost the ball. Every time they dribbled, they lost the ball. Bad passing. And it really showed last night where the Celtics come out 12-2, 14-2. And then literally, if you left the building for 5 minutes, you came back and Golden State was on like a 30-8 run, and they ran off 21 straight. Fast break, and just it looked like showtime. And right there, it was the experience.
Yeah.
They were two evenly matched teams. You can say what you want. Everyone's going to say Tatum and Brown are not ready for the big stage. That's not true in my eyes. They're there. They just haven't taken it to that next level. And listen, Draymond had a hell of a game. Wiggins had a hell of a game. Steph was Steph, and the rest was history.
Right. And I think, yeah, you nailed it. It was the experience. It was, for me, it was game 4, the second half, the Warriors making the adjustments defensively, got the Celtics out of their rhythm. Games 4, 5, and 6, I don't think the Celtics crack 100 points. And so you have to look at just like you said, the experience of knowing how to go on these runs, knowing how to adjust and shut them down defensively, and the Celtics didn't recover from it, plain and simple. I as far as Jaylen Brown, he exceeded what I expected from him of the series. I don't know that, at least at this stage, I don't know that you could ask much more. And the fact that he rose to the occasion in which he did, I think is a cause for a lot of optimism when you if you think he's still got a little bit more to improve. And Tatum was disappointing as far as in general, he was still very good, but in the sense of what it takes to win a championship, I'm not saying the blame is solely on Jason Tatum by any means, but as far as when your offense is struggling for 3 straight games to not to completely blow a finals, but obviously that's they lose 3 straight and that's a wrap. You have to look at why did their offense get so stagnant when through so many series you would see that for a game or so, and then they would make that adjustment and figure it out. And obviously that's not what we saw. We were expecting them with what they did in bounce back spots. We were expecting them in game 5 or 6 at least to do something offensively, and it just didn't happen. So you got to give credit to a lot of these guys. Got to give credit to the Warriors for rebuilding or retooling, I should say, this roster within 2 couple of years after losing KD, losing Klay Thompson for as long as they did, now getting him back. And Klay wasn't fantastic. Game 6 Klay is the narrative around Klay. He did not show up last night as far as game 6 Klay. I think it was game 4 in which he was really good, obviously. But this was, of all the 4 titles that they won, this was definitely the least impressive performance that he put together. So when you throw that into the mix, and he wasn't this no doubt number 2, this guy is as hot as anybody, as hot as Steph, and that's not what we saw. It's even more impressive to me. So I think we'll see him. I don't think we're gonna see that type of 3 straight appearances like we saw the first time, but I do think it's gonna be kind of like a Spurs trajectory here over the next 5 or 6 years, where we might see him in the finals 1 or 2 times, see him winning again here, and it's gonna be a lot of parity, I think, going forward. So hats off to the Warriors, hats off to the Celtics for what they did to get to this point. Obviously, going back to January, there were still people calling for this team to be split up, let alone going on this run. So still got to give credit to him. Credit to Udoka, when he came in year 1. So hats off to both these teams. Really impressed by Steph. But yeah, I was hoping it was going to go 7 games for entertainment. But you got the greats close it out in 6, as they say. So again, hats off to Steph.
And all the Andrew Wiggins for MVP guys. Listen, there was no doubt in my mind if Golden State won that this was Steph's final piece to his legacy. 4 rings. He finally got the MVP in the championship. Basically, Wiggins had a great series, but let's not forget, game 4 at the Garden. Steph's out of body experience, which we're accustomed to seeing, just carrying them there. I think that I don't want to say blow this team up, meaning Golden State. They got a lot of good young parts now. I don't know what Draymond's contract looks like. I don't know what Klay's is. But these guys have their rings now. They can go chase some money if they want. They can try to be a part of another team looking to get to that point. So, I'm proud of what the Celtics did. I was one of those guys for a long, long time that says Tatum and Brown can't make it together. You're going to have to ship one of them. I was wrong. They bought into Udoka. This can only help them moving forward. And I keep saying the East is loaded. Everyone laughs at me. I mean, the Bucks are, with Holiday, with Middleton, with Giannis just getting into his prime.
Yeah.
The Sixers aren't going anywhere. The Heat will add another piece this year. Your Bulls, Cleveland, the Celtics. I mean, the East is loaded. So take this experience, get some rest, and we'll see you in the fall.
Yep. And I mean, you have to imagine the Celtics will do some type of restructuring. I mean, as far as, you kind of saw Al Horford was great in certain spots, but at the end of the game, in some of these spots, the Warriors were hunting him down as far as getting him one-on-one switches with Steph Curry. And obviously, aging as he is, you have to imagine they're in the back of their mind or in front of their mind, maybe, that they're trying to, figure out some type of, in the grand scheme of the East, let alone, getting through the title, when you think of Giannis and Embiid and Bam Adebayo, adding, maybe changing up what they have as far as their, center personnel is concerned. So, or big man personnel. So interested to see what they do this offseason. Obviously going to keep the two together nonetheless, but we'll see what, if they want to add some type of different ball handler, that's kind of what I expect, whether it's starting point guard or bench point guard, nonetheless. So yeah, I'm a junkie for offseason movement in the NBA. So NBA draft coming up, so I can't wait.
I wouldn't be shocked if this, and I heard a couple people talking about it last night, and I'll say it again. If they do move smart, I think it's time. I said it in the offseason, but they gave him the contract. It's a workable contract. The defensive player of the year, they were talking about Brogdon from the Pacers, which would be better offensively. He's bigger, he's stronger. If I had one take in the offseason for the Celtics, I think Tatum and Brown need to work on their ball handling. Tatum needs to put on another 10, 15 pounds. I think he thinks he's one of those guys that can just drive to the lane, and he's already got it embedded in himself that he's going to get a call. He's not going to get a call. He's not Giannis, who he could just go to the lane and you're going to hack him anyways.
Right.
And so that was my take there. I'm going to transition right into the U.S. Open right now. I'm using DraftKings. I got the live board now. I don't know if you have the actual leaderboard as we're watching
Sure.
As I'm watching the numbers change as we speak. Currently, Rory plus 360. Rahm now goes to plus 900. Fitzpatrick now at plus 1,000. Burns at 1,400. Your boy Scotty Scheffler plus 1,600. Morikawa 1,600. DJ. The board changed as we speak. Let's see what they say here. Survey said. DJ and Zalatoris at 1,800, and I'll just end with Schauffele at 2,200. Thoughts after yesterday, going into today? What are you seeing live on the board now, and what are you thinking about today?
Yeah, as far as, like I said to start the show, Fitzpatrick was one of my outright guys that I had going in. He's actually dropped back he was up at 3, now he's dropped back to 2. We've always mentioned him as a grinder. This is, and he's won U.S. Amateur at this course. So I think he's going to be, if he's not winning this one, he's going to be in that conversation, every single day, in my opinion. But I think, a lot of these guys that would normally be poised for a lot of success aren't, completely rounded in form. And I'm interested to see if we see them kind of shake some of this rust off as we go along. Brooks Koepka yesterday was putting some really nice shots together, but because he's been so rusty, he just couldn't string them along and avoid some of those bad shots. So I'm interested to see what he does. I think he's already going out today, and he's kind of towing the cut line. So if he can make it, or guys like that have been kind of rusty but are poised and kind of built for this, if they can make the cut and find some momentum, then I think guys like that could be in contention. Schauffele was another guy. I had Schauffele as my top American finisher, so I still kind of like him. I want to say he hasn't gotten out today. Morikawa though is one that I wasn't giving enough credit to coming in, but now that we've seen him go out, I can't really get him out of my head. I think he's gonna put up a nice day today. Duffy, I'm not sure how to pronounce it exactly, already dropped back to 4. So I'm interested to see what we see out of him and the rest of the pack behind him. Aside from Rory, a handful of guys that aren't the biggest names. So I'm interested to see, if we see some serious regression from some of those guys that aren't top 20 in the world. You know what I mean? So I'm really interested. Scheffler, I love my Scotty Scheffler. I didn't take any action on this week. Don't have the highest hopes for him. He was, this is still a little bit of a a pretty big test as far as his game is concerned, and he's kind of regressed from what he was a few months ago. So I'm not. I think he's going to make the cut, but I'm not holding out too much hope as far as Saturday, Sunday. Huge push. Obviously, I'd love to see it as a fan, but nonetheless, Rory though, it really seems like the guy is on a mission. He's hanging around, obviously, right at 3 under, but the guy is just hell-bent on. I saw a comment today. I think it's been 8 years since he's won a major on top of everything that's going on. The guy just is driven. I've never seen him this driven in a long time, so it would not shock me whatsoever. As a fan of the PGA Tour, I'm hoping he gets it done. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else that I missed that I was interested in. Lowry was a guy, kind of a grinder that I was interested in coming in. He's not off to the best start. But a lot of these, some of these live guys, Patrick Reed and Dustin Johnson, we're getting higher odds than what they normally get, as far as DJ was around 40-1 as opposed to the 20-25-1 like he typically is on a major weekend. And now obviously he's kind of defying that a little bit. So Rahm, I'm interested to see if he's sticking around a little bit. He's at 1 under through overall. And actually, he hasn't started. He's coming up in a couple hours. He's definitely an X factor as far as the rest of the weekend is concerned. But I'm just interested as far as if we're playing our game that we typically play on Sundays, we might be able to play it a little bit here today, leader after round 2. Unless you think it's going to be Fitzpatrick or Rory, one of these, some of these guys that if we're taking the top off and Duffy or any of these other guys falls back a little bit, some of these guys that are at even -1 right now might be able to make a play and still be the second round leader going into tomorrow, and you might be able to find some odds as far as that is concerned. I see, and then that last thing, and then I'll kick it back over to you. As far as on FanDuel, you mentioned DraftKings. On FanDuel, you can get round 2 leading score -4 or better right now is +110. So you can get plus odds if you think the round 2 leader is going to be sitting at 4 under or better, and then 3 under or worse is -150. So the books right now don't even think that these guys are going to go very low today. And I was hearing yesterday that yesterday was probably the easiest day that we're going to see all weekend long. So we could be seeing some high scores today. Some of these guys that are at the top could really implode on even 1 or 2 holes. So you really got to hold your breath when you're when you're taking this action, and be really careful, because it can be really, really dangerous at a course like this. So I would say proceed with caution. And I'm interested in your thoughts on what we see today.
The one thing that I fell off my chair when I heard this story, Adam Hadwin, who was your first round leader at -4, wasn't even in the original 156. It took a Paul Casey withdrawal, and he was almost like John Daly waiting in the parking lot saying, "All right, guys, here I am, here I come." Yeah. And like Rich Strike in the Kentucky Derby, So, he took some money out of our pockets. I don't root for bad. I believe in karma, but let me tell you, I was rooting hard for a bogey somewhere in those last 4 or 5 holes, and he was nails. I have no stake in Rory. We have a bunch of the guys near the top. We started, I thought, unfortunately, Rory, JT, Scheffler, and there was one other, were overpriced. I know Rory's in form. I walked the course on Tuesday. I know this is going to be a grind of all grind. Making the cut, top 60 and ties, and it was currently +2 when the day started. I think it gets to at least +3. That's just my take there. I kind of hope Rory kind of poops the bed a little, so I can get maybe higher than that 10-1, which you'll never get with Rory, to have some weekend action with him. Justin Thomas right now, you can get it +25. Don't forget the PGA, he came from 7 back. You nailed it when we started talking about the U.S. Open. The grinding, you have to right here, and you could be living the life, having one of those Caddyshack rounds, and 1 hole, you can get the +3 or +4 on it, and it just sends you back to reality.
Right. And this is the tournament, the U.S. Open typically, and I've already seen it so far this year, where golfers start to look like guys like me out there and hit a chip 10 feet, and then it rolls back behind them. I already saw that from Scotty Scheffler. I think it was today. So, and Duffy he was at 5 under. He's already back to 3 and tied for the lead. So it's going to be tough as far as I don't see many people. I think 2 under is about as good of a score as I'm seeing so far, and it's really only a couple guys. Koepka actually 2 under for the day, up to 1 over right now, so he's starting to make a little bit of a push. Only a handful of holes left. So, like I said, he had some really nice shots yesterday, and then it would be a one rough drive or one rough approach, and then he would have a nice recovery. So if he can string it together and shake some of that rust off, I think he's one that could be coming out of this pack today and into tomorrow and have a nice moving day tomorrow.
I'll leave with one name. We have him pre-flop, I think, at plus 4,100. He's currently plus 2,500. Max Homa.
I'm a big fan. Had a lot of action on him. He's just we just haven't seen him come out of a pack like this on a major. But he's one if he can avoid those mistakes, and he's if you're a person who believes in the new dad energy or whatever it is, he's got his first kid on the way, and he's been playing better ever since that news came out. So he's got that type of just positive life momentum, and he's been playing well with it, and he's obviously here today. So I'll be rooting for him for sure as well. And for him, it's avoiding the mistakes as opposed to playing really well for him, in my opinion here.
All right, I'm going to pull up Wager Talk. We got a full slate of MLB. Couple double headers, at least one, I think maybe 2 double headers we got going on today. Early day action, Phillies in Washington, Suarez versus Adon, and he has been absolutely awful of late. In come the charging Atlanta Braves, 14 in a row, 13-1 to the run line. That's amazing. There are 2 early games there, and then, of course, we got the full night slate. So the board is yours, my friend. Take it away.
Alrighty. As far as that Atlanta and Cubs game, it's another situation where you always talk about not getting in front of the train. Braves 14 straight wins, Cubs 10 straight losses. But I was seeing, it looks like it's still 8.5. I was seeing loads and loads of money on the over in this one here today. Only went from 8 to 8.5. So I'm not sure if you're buying that line movement, or you think because of that amount of money, you think it should go up a little bit more. As far as this one is concerned, if you're going anywhere, would it be a total on this one, buying the movement and the money, or would you be fading the money? Is that where you're going as far as a total play in this one if you had to?
Well, I took the lead with Thompson on Sunday against the Yankees. That was our dog of the day in our action parlay. And let's just say he couldn't throw a strike. I think they put up a 5 spot in the first inning. I think they were up 8-0 after 2. Now, this is typically where you expect a better start. I'm not a big Ground Chuck fan for the Braves. He has not lived up to what he used to or what he has done in the past. I think here's the problem. It's Friday, it's payday, and a lot of people want to run to the window and get some early action to kind of wet their palate as they're finishing up their 4 or 5 hours of their shift. I think people think of Wrigley Field on Fridays as a boatload of runs. I expect a good outing from Thompson. I don't know what I'm going to get from Morton. I just don't. I mean, you can't bet the Cubs. You got to wait till the Braves finally lose. I like where your eyes are, but maybe we do see a 4-3 game here.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. It's and I was trying to track it. Winds not blowing out by any means in this one. Kind of not hard in by any means, but it's blowing in a little bit. At these if this what I'm seeing is accurate, righty pull hitters that are pulling it to left. The wind is blowing in from left, so that might hold a lot of balls in here. Obviously, the weather's heating up here in the Windy City, but if that wind is strong enough, then it's it's not going to matter. So I'm kind of with you. 4-3 would be my guess there. Tampa Bay and Baltimore. Interesting one here. This one is in Baltimore. Shane Baz versus Dean Kramer. Baz, second start of the season. First one, not very good. Kramer, third of the season, I believe. Been pretty decent. I'm seeing loads and loads of money on the Rays, or maybe not loads and loads, but still about 75-80% of money on the Rays. Is this a potential fade the public spot, or too big a question marks with the pitchers here on the mound?
Had Baz on Saturday against Chichi Rodriguez. They put up a 3 spot in the first inning, and we had him first 5, Baz. And then he had 3 shutout innings, and then I think in the 4th inning he gave up 5 runs. And it's amazing. I can't remember what I had for breakfast this morning, but I can tell you what happened, weeks and weeks ago, and that was only on Saturday. I like Baz. I like the bounce back. I like the second game. here. I think he can get more than 3-4 innings. I'd lean Tampa first 5 and then get out of Dodge.
Okay, I'm gonna stay away from that one. Yeah, I was in on that one with you as well with Baz and the Rays last week. So I'm gonna stay away from that one. Next one, interesting pricing on this one. Milwaukee, who has not been playing well, and the Cincinnati Reds, right around -110 each way. Lauer versus Hunter Green. Lauer really bad last outing, and Green very good the last two, I do believe. Another fade the public spot, question mark. Mr. Green, I know you've been impressed with him a little bit. Are you liking the Reds in this spot on Fade the Public Friday again here today?
I'm going to go with trusting and respecting the open and overnight number. Brewers -120. I think they're like 2-13 their last 15. Everyone laughed. I was sitting in Vegas in March at the Bellagio, and I had 3, 4, 5 people coming up showing me their Brewers win the division. It was the easiest play of the year. They're printing money. Jeff, get up there. And I laughed. I says, you might want to look out for that Cardinal team. And everyone, of course, I got a lot of texts and emails from the start of the season. And it's funny, those guys haven't reached back out to me lately. And Green, listen, 101, 102, 103 miles an hour. A Brewers team, as you said, is not playing well. Here's what I will tell you. Overnight, over 8.5 is shot to 9.5 over. So I'm not a total guy, as you're not a hockey guy, as we like to say here. The over has got my eyes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I think Lauer is going to get beat up again in this one. Not sure what we see from Green, but that would be my opinion, is Lauer getting beat up, and that's what I believe is why that number is moving up for the total. So that's where my head is at on that one. Another good one, Yankees in Toronto, Montgomery and Stripling. Another one that looks like it's last I checked was right about -110. Might be on the move a little bit. I'm seeing maybe a little bit, edge to the Yankees as far as the favoritism. That one -115 in a couple spots. Money on the Yankees as well. Stripling actually very good the last 2 starts. I think I mentioned they've gotten better at not extending him into the the third time through the lineup. So they've had a good hook on him, or a good timing for the hook. You seeing the same thing here tonight in Toronto, or you're not getting in front of this Yankees train again here tonight?
Well, as I talked about the Braves, I was waiting for this opening number for a while last night to see who they would have favored. Lefty coming into Toronto. I'm always licking my chops. Now, listen, let me pull up the numbers here just so I'm not quoting bad numbers here. You have a Yankees team right now that is 47-16. They're 31 games over 500. Toronto, 37-26, a good start to the year, 11 games over 500, yet in the win-loss column, 10 games behind the Yanks. 10. 10. Yankees are a freight train right now. I like the Jays tonight.
This line it's stinky as far as Fade the Public Friday is concerned. I'm with you on this one. I don't love Stripling, but like I said, they've been using him correctly. And the Jays actually have, like you said, lefty coming into Toronto. The Jays have had some decent numbers against Montgomery. Over under 9. So maybe Montgomery gets beat up a little bit in this one. So I'm interested in that one for sure. I'll kick it over to you on this one. St. Louis and Boston, Wainwright and Waka, 2 former teammates actually, both been very good actually. Both 3 earned runs allowed last time out. Over under at 10.5. Is this one screaming that at least one of these guys is getting beat up today? And from your perspective, who's it going to be?
Overnight number of 9.5 juiced under. It has hit 10. I don't have a weather report in front of me right now. It is cool in Cape Cod. I'm expecting cool in Boston. I'm expecting this weekend a lot of runs to be scored. Sox coming off a day game that they lost 4-3. I think it's going to be a great, great series. Sox only opened up -110. Sox 34-30. In come the Cardinals at 37-28. 9 games over. You know what? If I wanted to get my feet wet in this, I've been waiting for some Walker regression. It hasn't happened yet. I think this one tiptoes over the 10.
Okay, yeah, that's where I'm leaning as well. Maybe both these guys get beat up and have some regression. I'm not sure from my perspective, but I think up at 10.5 with these two guys who, I think they're both under a 3 ERA. To the general public is going to scream under, but I'm with you. I think this one goes over as well. Texas and Detroit, John Gray and Scooble on the mound. Detroit back to some rough offense. I think they had a nice little window where they were putting up a few runs a game. Now back to just putrid offense. Very bad against right-handers. Texas actually pretty damn solid against lefties. Are you buying those facts when you're making the play out of this one, or you're not a fan of Gray? You like Scooble in this one? Where your head's at?
Well, Scooble has been absolutely lights out. He is hands down their best pitcher. I think Scotty Webb said yesterday that the Tigers have hit 2 homers in their last 280 at bats before last night even. So it's probably well over 300 now. We got the gift. We got the 3 runs in the ninth to get the run line. If you actually look at the opening number, Texas minus 115, the public sees Scooble, they run to the window. I'm not saying he's not going to pitch well. It's just it doesn't matter how well he pitches. This Tiger team just can't score. And so
Right.
I'm going back to trusting and respecting the opening number. I think Texas finds a way and gets it done.
Right. And I've mentioned John Gray is one of these guys for me that when I'm in his games, I'm picking the wrong side whenever he's whenever he's on the mound. So maybe I stay away, but he's been looking decent lately. And with Texas, the way they hit lefties, I would not be surprised if if 3 is the magic number, let alone 4 or 5 in this one with how bad Detroit's offense has been. Heading over to my neck of the woods, not in Chicago today, but Chicago White Sox at Houston. Sox off day yesterday. Giolito versus Framber Valdez. I always talk about it. I'm at least going to be a little more optimistic when we see a lefty on the opposing mound. We're obviously a lot better against left-handers. Giolito could be due for a bounce back in this one. Solid numbers against Houston, actually, except versus just about everybody except Michael Brantley. White Sox saw Valdez 3 times last year, scored at least 3 runs each time, including a playoff win. If I'm making the case for the White Sox, their offense is in probably the best place it's been all season long. Abreu is smoking hot. Moncada is confirmed alive coming into this last series. 132 batting average, 177 OBP, and then he goes 7 for 14 with 6 RBIs against Detroit Tigers. So hopefully that man is alive, and it wasn't just some Detroit medicine over there. So I think, and if you're looking at this entire series, this is probably the best chance for the White Sox to win any of these games in this series. You get Verlander and Cueto tomorrow, and then undecided for the White Sox versus Javier on Sunday. 2-4 between the Dodgers and Texas, 2 and 4, and you can make the argument that they should have won 3 with the way their offense is playing. You can disagree with me if you want, but if I'm optimistic about the White Sox in any game in this series, this would be the one. Are you with me in liking the White Sox, or is this number a little steep and scaring you off for the White Sox' sake here?
Overnight number, Houston minus 190. I can't remember a last time a Giolito start where you would be getting that kind of number. The corrected line, Houston minus 160. You can grab Jeets at plus 146. I'll say this. If you like the Chicago side, I would go to the well in the first 5. Hope to get a couple early against the lefty Valdez. And you can add to this if you'd like. Hendricks on the shelf, correct? They will move
correct
to Graveman now as the closer. Who else has been back there? Is it Otto?
No, they just brought back Joe Kelly was on the IL, so kind of let Hendricks on the IL, brought Joe Kelly back. Aside from him and Graveman, with Hendricks gone, Aaron Bummer is also not pitching. So the back end is pretty slim right now with what our options are right now.
So for me, again, if you like the price, go grab Jeets first 5. I got to respect that opening number. I'm not going to get into a minus 160. An over-under that opened at 8, it's down to 7.5 at DraftKings and 7.5 at WinBet. Tough to play a home team minus a run line when your under-over is at 7.5. I think Vegas has given us the old, 4-2. Good pitchers duel, good matchup. Will the bullpens blow up? I'm just scared of the opening number. That was a real high number in my eyes.
Yeah, I think it's fair to stay away from this one. I mean, the White Sox have not had a ton of success against this Astros team, so I had to go on my spiel of optimism, though. So I thank you for letting me, spout my optimism as far as the White Sox are concerned. But just glad that there's some dudes that were living corpses that are actually living human beings now on our team. So that's just optimism for me. So moving on to Colorado, San Diego, Colorado, Mackenzie Gore and Freeland. These two guys actually just faced each other this past Saturday in San Diego, and Gore was not very good. Freeland was pretty good. And what is this line now? San Diego about minus 145. Any interest in the Rockies at home? Not a winning baseball team at home anymore. I think they're 16-19 at home. Compared to obviously worst record on the road. Any interest in the Rockies, or is Gore getting back on track in this one and rolling in Colorado tonight?
Padres rolling. Our buddy SoCal DGen on Twitter, it's Freeland Day, so that's an automatic under. I'm a guy that says when the number hits 12 or more, it's an auto play to the over. I don't know if I bucked the trend, but I'm going to just say this. An overnight under over 11, now 12 and a half juiced over. You got a weather report there? What do they got, a monsoon blowing out to center?
I see. At least on this one, it's not a full weather report. They just give the wind tracker 14-mile-an-hour wind blowing out to straight or about left center field, almost straight away center. So the wind is blowing out according to this here.
I will buck the trend, SoCal. Anyone listening that wants a little pizza and bear money, it's 12 and a half, peeps. I know Freeland's pitching. I'm just telling you, San Diego's have been raking. I'll take a little beer and pizza on over 12 and a half.
I like it. And just to add, Colorado versus lefties at home is actually very, very, I guess I don't know about the last week or so, but on the season, Colorado at home versus lefties and lefties anywhere, they've been pretty damn good. So I'm definitely interested in what you're putting down there. Only a couple more, and then I'll let you fill in any cracks. Minnesota and Arizona, Smelter and Bumgarner. Twins about minus 130, I believe, when I was last checking, and getting quite a bit of money on the road in Arizona. Is that line screaming regression for Smeltzer, or are you seeing something else in that one and buying the Twins there?
Twins offense been doing pretty damn well. Not a Smeltzer fan, and was always a Bumgarner fan. He's just a shell of himself. I'll be outside looking in on that one, under over a 9. I think both teams will do some scoring here. An overnight number of 140, now 121, and I'm showing 58% of the bets, 72% of the money all coming in on Arizona. So Sharks have spoken. They like the home dog here tonight.
Okay. Yeah, I was not seeing that money, so that definitely changed my thoughts. Glad I did not get in on that one. And then let's see, I've got one more, and then you can fill in some cracks. Angels at the Mariners. Robbie Ray, are you on the fade Robbie Ray train at home tonight against the Angels, or are you staying out of this one and watching as a fan?
Unfortunately, I've been preseason fade Robbie Ray, and I have dipped my toes in twice. 1-1, good outing from the Angels yesterday. I don't have a good pulse on the Seattle team. I've gone in a few times. They're another offensively challenged team. I'm waiting for the Angels to get it going again, and I know they're a little banged up. I don't know the status of Rondon. I know Trout hit a couple homers yesterday. I'd like to see the Angels start to win a few more in a row. I'm going to be outside looking in here. I'm going to stay away. But anyone that wants to stay on the fade Robbie Ray train, I don't have a problem with that.
Right. And I think for me at 7.5, the total, that one kind of keeps me away from if it was 8.5, 9, then I think I'd probably be all over the fade Robbie Ray. But that one kind of screams that it's going to be maybe a little 3-2, 4-3, 4-2 type thing as well. If it was up at 9, I think I'd be all in. But I think I'm with you on that one. Seattle, I'm right there with you. I'm not really getting much of a read on this team. So, I'll keep myself out of that one. I know I missed a couple. I saw there was a couple of games that had undecided last I checked, but was there any that I missed that you wanted to talk about?
Well, the Philly-Washington first game, Suarez has been serviceable. Adden has just been, oh, my God.
Yeah.
And I don't trust the Phillies back end. We know that. They are raking. They're playing great ball since Joe left 2 weeks ago. An overnight number that was 225, a corrected number right now at 169 at circa. I wouldn't have a problem tipping my toes at the Phillies first five minus a hook. I have a bad war story. This is the luck that we've had lately. We had the Phillies earlier this week minus the hook first five. They were at home. 1-0. We lost. And then, of course, in the bottom of the ninth, they hit a 3-run homer walk off to cover the full game
Yeah.
run line there. I could the price was too steep to get into Wheeler first five. Yesterday could have played them easily on a full game 10-1. I like Phillies here. I like them first five minus the hook. I wouldn't have a problem with you playing full game minus the 1.5. The problem is the back end of the Phillies. But I lean Phillies in this first game.
Do you like a situation where you go Phillies first game, and if the Phillies get it done, you like the Nationals in the second game, or is that a little too more aggressive? You got Bailey Falter on the mound in game 2 for the Phillies, and Paulo Espino, excuse me. Is that a situation where you might be interested in the Nationals, or are you taking your money in the first game and running after that?
Used to be.
Yeah.
Watch the first game. Whoever lost the first game, you played them in the second game, and it was cash money. And it doesn't seem to go to form right now. Nats are just bad. But listen, Falta versus Espino, an overnight number of 190, now 149. I'll tell you this. If the Phillies win game 1, you're going to see that 149 probably close at like 135 or something. So I like where your eyes are. I don't have a problem if someone wanted to get cute there.
Right. It's just that Nationals team is it's a tough pill to swallow sometimes when you're betting on that Nationals team, at least in my eyes. I don't know about you.
Agreed. And the late game, Kershaw's second game back since coming back, right? I think this is his second start.
Yep, correct.
Is it yes?
Yes, correct. Yep.
Going against Plesac and the Guardians. The Guardians have been pesky. I'm not going to lay a 270 or a 264. I'm not going to play the full game run line there. The Dodgers right now at 39-23, 16 games over 500. No one's talking about this. The Guardians at 32-27, 5 games over 500.
Right. For me in this one, I'm looking at Plesac's a guy that I like. I like at home. He's 3.34 ERA at home, 6.49 on the road, and you look at each and every season, quite a bit worse on the road. So that would be enough to keep me away out of this one. Just not being as strong on the road for Plesac in this one, traveling all the way to the West Coast. But I'll probably keep myself out of that one tonight. But you're right. That Cleveland team is peskier than people are giving them credit for. 32-27, and so it's kind of what they were last year. Their pitching, keeps them afloat, and their offense goes through spurts of just kind of putrid offense. But whenever their offense is rolling, they're definitely a team with some value. But I'll probably stay away from them tonight.
I know you're not the hockey guy, but I want people to hear it from you. Avs up 1-0, 4-3. OT win, great game 1. I've seen the Avs around 160. You can get the Lightning plus 140. Series line after the overtime game, Avs went to minus 300. Tampa to plus 250, excuse me.
Right.
A lot of people jumped in on board. Right now at Circa, you can get the Lightning plus 220. We're sitting at plus 330 right now with the Avs. I mean, best case scenario, if you wanted to get cute, you can go in and get the Lightning plus the 220 now, or you hope the Avs win game 2. You go back and get the Avs plus 330, and you got an even 330. We got an exactor at plus 375, Avs in 5. Do you expect Vasilevsky and the Lightning 18-1 after a playoff loss the last 3 years? Gun to your head, what are you expecting tomorrow?
Yeah, gun to my head. I kind of lean towards the Lightning in a low scoring game, kind of as you're leading on to with those bounce back numbers and Vasilevsky himself. So not a hockey guy, but I'll say a 3-2 Lightning victory in game 2, and then after that I'm not sure what we expect in Tampa, but I don't hate the Avalanche in 5, and maybe the Lightning this game 2 is what we see the Lightning get, but. Maybe Lightning, the Avs in 6. Either way, I'm going to go Lightning 3-2 in game number 2 here tomorrow.
I mean, for our getting it at 5, best case scenario, I think, is Avs get game 2, another hard-fought game. Lightning steal game 3. 2-1, and then the Avs hard fought game in game 4, and they wrap it up in 5. It was funny because you ask anyone, if I gave you Avs in 4, 5, 6, 7, or I gave you Lightning in 4, 5, 6, 7, what was the favorite? And everyone said Avs in 6, but it was Avs in 5 was the favorite at plus 375.
Interesting. Yeah, I like I said, I'm not the hockey guy, but I think this is the end of the road. You think about it. I mean, you and I were both on. I'm drawing a blank on what teams it was. Was it the Leafs and the Panthers to take down the Lightning? As far as am I right on that one? Leafs and Lightning right there, or the Leafs and the Panthers. So I think it's the end of the road for the Lightning. And yeah, whether we see it in 5, 6, or 7, I don't know. I'll lean towards 5 or 6. But yeah, I'm hoping for an exciting series, as exciting as we saw in Game 1. As just a hockey fan here, I was on the Lightning in Game 1 and it didn't happen. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you could trust my word on the old ice. But I'll go 3-2 Lightning for game number 2.
As always, a pleasure here with Mr. Riley Magnuson from the Windy City, our co-host on the Breakfast Bankroll. And coming this fall, we have a couple maybe potential tricks up our sleeve. We'll be debuting sooner than later. Even Riley doesn't know about them yet, so we're keeping him in the dark about that. But thanks all the watchers, listeners, people that are not following, please do at EC Sports Invest, at Riley Magnuson, at Riley_Magnuson, the one. You can jump over to our YouTube and Twitch channel at East Coast Sports Investors. Subscribe; it's free. It's like tipping the dealer at the Bellagio. How's that sound? So, anyways, 2:30 p.m. The one and only Dan Alexander at Newbie Talks. We'll be talking Premier Lacrosse week number 3. Week number 3. We've had 2 great weekends so far with Dan, and it's a great. Listen, guys, they all cash the same. I don't care if it's lacrosse, ping pong, tiddlywinks, whatever. When you go to the window, they all pay the same. So if you don't know anything about lacrosse, that's even better. We're here to educate you. So listen, if you are wagering this afternoon in MLB or later tonight, please do it responsibly. If you do have a problem, pick up the phone. There is an 800 number. Ask for help. Why? Myself and Riley care. We want to see you here today, tomorrow, next week, next month, through 2022 and beyond. From myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, from the one and only Riley Magnuson at Riley_Magnuson, the one. We wish everyone a blessed morning. We'll see you this afternoon at 2:30, and enjoy the U.S. Open. There's some good golf out there.